Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back for Detox. I know we got just a few minutes here. Just getting set up. Hope you're all doing well. Emily, good evening. How's Chicago? Nice and hot? Humid? Hi Era, good evening. You went back to work, I saw you said this morning. What's work? Or where's work? Roz, good evening. I feel like we're slowly collecting back our detox crew. I don't even think maybe half the people know that we're doing it. I mean, you send out an email, and I'd say probably maybe a third of the people even open the emails that you send out. Get it? There's a lot of emails out there, and then you post it on Instagram. But there's a lot of stuff on Instagram, so I bet you most people don't even know that we're doing this. So I feel like little by little, if you um, let your detox buddies know it's happening. It's happening again. Kimberly, Taylor, Terry, up in Mammoth, beautiful. Hi, Alberto. And we'll give it one more minute if anybody else is joining. This is Detox, so you want to stack. You want to stack up pillows. You want a blanket. You want your yoga block if you have one. Don't stress if you don't. Anything to put underneath and support your body. K-Sue, 4 days, 8 classes, doing them all. Beautiful. It's like vacation compared to what we were doing with the studio being open. You guys were working your butts off here, cleaning in between, taking classes, making sure everybody else is taken care of. Survived COVID through detox. Ooh, financial planning. Wow, 114 days at home, and it was the first time. Yeah, wearing a mask in the office would be odd. I used to work in the office myself before yoga. I was corporate America. I worked for an insurance company when I was in going to school, university, and then continued with that. I worked in finance, and then got into data warehousing and consulting. So consulting actually took me down a road of travel for about 10 years, but worked with a bunch of different companies. You learn a lot about companies when you work in the back office and with their data, which is really cool. All right, let's get started in child's pose tonight. A detox starting in child's pose, and you're welcome to support and put some blankets behind your knees or under your knees, in your shins, under your ankles, or under your feet. And so this is what I'm saying. It's always a very intuitive process to pad yourself up. I don't actually have my blankets. I never have. I wish I would, but I've gotten, fairly used to the positions, doing them for quite some time now. But if you want that padding and it helps you release, so notice where there's gaps, then you can put a little pillow or a little blanket underneath there, and then let your knees be just a little bit wider than your torso, and so that when your chest comes down, your ribs have something to settle into. If all that's a bit much, this is the detox version. You can have something underneath your chest, underneath your forehead.
And take your first 30 seconds or so to make any adjustments so that you can settle and soften the body and the mind into the position. We had a pretty intentional morning with practice and sending out a lot of love. As I mentioned this morning, one of our fellow online practitioners, Ari, who you guys have seen pop up many times on the live chat, and he took every single class pretty much during that initial lockdown and 90-day period. He was found out last Tuesday that he tested positive for COVID. So he's 7 days in, so we spent this morning in sending out a lot of love. And, the idea is that if we sit in detox especially, you sit in quite a bit of discomfort, but if you're sitting in the relative discomfort without moving or fidgeting can relieve in some pain or some discomfort or some suffering that another being may be going through, then it's definitely worth it. And it seems like a selfish thing, perhaps. I know a lot of you have other responsibilities and families and things to take care of, so it can feel selfish sometime to get to your mat. But in doing that, it helps us realize the selfless existence, the grace of flowing with our fellow beings, and in turn taking care of ourselves, and so that we can find the energy and explore that raw, authentic energy to show up for our friends and our families and people that we're walking by. This is how we become awakened and more aware of all the beings. So next time you're walking down the sidewalk, you don't just pass that person. You might look at that person, smile at that person, and give peace fingers to that person. And there's a connection. I mentioned this way back in the quarantine. And it's not a world where you can live in it and say, oh, that's never going to happen to me. Right? That happens to those people. That happens in those places. We're all out there vulnerable. If this time isn't showing us how vulnerable we really are, I don't know what else will. And so if you need to develop some respect and for those cracks of vulnerability, then detox is a good place to feel it. Maybe you did, but no need to fall asleep in the first pose of the practice. And start to lift the head, slowly walk the hands back in. And as you lift your torso up, then you can bring your hips forward off of your heels. You swing those feet around in front, and then let's go ahead and lie down onto the back and for our first rebound. So instead of starting in Shavasana, we're going to rebound. In Shavasana, coming out of your child's pose, feel your legs and the kinks let go. And the flow can come back in from your feet, your ankles into your knees. See if it feels good to take a little sigh as you rest here on your back. Close your eyes and land in your practice tonight. Your body may move you around from place to place, but you're all getting a more intimate look at what energy is, what it feels like to exist and from within and not feel so stressed and pulled by what's going on around you, and to actually be your true self in more situations than not, versus once in a while or only behind closed doors. If you have a yoga block, use it. If not, pillow folded or blanket folded will work. Bend your legs so that your feet are flat. And we're not going very high, so if it's a yoga block, on the lowest height, slide it underneath your sacrum. Lift your hips. And sacrum, triangular bone at the base of your spine. So if it's a pillow or a blanket, fold it up so you get about 4 inches or so to elevate the pelvis, and then from here we can let the legs go back out straight, heels heavy, and falling into a release. We worked a lot into strengthening in the psoas in this morning's practice, so now just letting that length come in from the inner thighs to your lower back. That's what the prop is doing underneath you. If you don't have either of those things, you could always just turn your palms down, tuck the back of your hands underneath your bum. That'll give you a little elevation. And even if it's just a subtle sensation for now, that's okay. You don't have to be feeling to the point where you're begging to come out of it right away. Let it be subtle. Let it be no sensation at all. And that's ultimately where we're going, and where the practice is evolving to a sensationalist or lack of sensation experience. But while the sensations exist, use them as a guide. Let them pull you inward. Because one day when they're not there anymore, the development and the evolution of your practice will keep you inward with your breath.
even invite you, if you're somebody that says, oh, I'm not feeling anything, and to truly investigate that statement. I'm sure there's a feeling somewhere that you can observe. Draw back, take a deeper breath, fill your belly. As you exhale, release all the air out of your body. You want to move very slowly. And then slide to bend the other leg. With your feet flat, little lift of your hips off of your stack. And then you can slide it out and let your hips come all the way back down onto the ground. And feel this release in your low back. You can gently sway your knees side to side. Next time your knees are straight up, walk your hips over to the right a little bit. And bring your right knee towards your chest. And then wrap your right ankle to the outside of your left thigh. And we're going to come into a twist. And bring the right knee. So you're just rolling onto your left hip. And your right knee comes over, and then your right hand can reach down. And you can connect it to the top of your left foot. Left hand can lay over the outside of your right thigh. So I've got my ankle hooked outside the thigh. I've got my right hand not pulling but connected onto my left foot. And then my left hand, again not pulling, is connected onto the outer right thigh. And from here the shoulders can release heavy. And the head can settle wherever it wants to. We're sitting in a little ball of energy right now. You relax in the breath. You reflect in the breath. You be in the energy of the breath. And keep softening as you watch the exhales. And release the body into a deeper state. And we'll observe about 10 more breaths on this side, please. And somewhere in your next 3 breath cycles, and bring your head back to center. And so the upper spine is neutral. And then you can start to soften the hands that were connected into your legs. And then we can start to move the hips back. From the twist and to release the spine. If you close your eyes, it might feel pretty funny through your legs as you unravel this twist. And let your legs go out straight. You rest your arms by your sides. You make any little adjustments that you need to soften. And the rebound and the position is Shavasana. A deeper breath in. A little sigh, exhale, release. Bend your legs, please. Hook your left ankle to the outside of your right thigh. And scoot your bum over to the left. And let your knees come down to the right. And so you're rolling your left hip on top. And you reach down with your left hand connected to your right foot. Right hand connected to your left thigh. Either pulling with either arm. And then you can let your shoulders come down and your head can move off in any direction that feels good. And you may find if you had took a little break from this practice, there is a muscle memory to letting the muscles go. And just as you build a relationship of activation and strength, and there's as much familiarity in the space of letting the body go and noticing what that does and how it feels in your mind. We put this practice in the evening because it does suggest a deeper sleep, the unwinding capability energetically, and to let that flow and the chi move more freely through your entire body. somewhere in your next 3 breaths. You not only feel the deeper release in the exhale, but then you can follow this back to the rebound. You release the hands. And then start to roll your hips back onto the mat. And work your legs out straight. And landing in a Shavasana rebound. Rest the legs, rest the arms. And just be. I hope you're feeling heavy and somewhat relaxed. No rush with your movements. Bend your legs so that your feet are flat. And then roll over onto your left-hand side. And pause there in the fetal position. Let your body take a little sigh here. And collapse over that left shoulder. And then use your right hand so we've actually turned you 180 degrees on your mat. And come around to a tabletop so you're facing the back of your mat, please. And keep your head heavy. Step your right foot in between your hands. You can slide your left knee back. You can put a pillow, blanket, or double pad in your left knee by rolling your mat over from the side. And keep one hand on each side of your front foot. And we'll come into a passive low lunge. And rest the head, release the jaw. And begin to settle.
Observe if you're gripping the muscles in your face. Loosen in the jaw and the lips. And relax the face as much as you can. In so many ways, the space that we're experiencing right now in our practice is showing us that there is openness, there is possibility. When we attach less into the physical existence, explore more on a plane where we're untethered or unattached. And even in a challenging position like this, you can feel happy, joy, peace. Into your hips or wherever you're feeling it, let's take 3 breaths. And with a little vibration and a sigh through the exhale. So breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And sigh, breathe out. One more, breathe in. And go inch by inch and slide your hips back. And as your hips come back far enough, then you can slide your right foot back. And so you make your way onto all fours and take any padding out from underneath your left knee. And then we're going to catch our rebound down onto our belly. So chest down, legs straight out behind you. Ooh, feel the front of that right hip. And make a little head rest, stack your palms. And then let your right cheek come down, release your belly into the ground. And relax.
Turn your chin back onto the mat. Give your hips a rock a couple times, side to side. Sometimes not only a bit of an achiness when you get deep into a joint, but sometimes also it feels like it's burning a little bit. Let's make our way back up onto the hands and the knees. We'll set up for the low lunge on the other side. So once you arrive, and bring your left foot forward in between your hands. One hand on each side. And then pat up your right knee. Double roll. Your mat, use a pillow, stack of blankets. And as you meet the lunge, then you can start to bow the head. Arms are just there for balance. You're not holding up or pulling yourself down. It's one of those things you really can't describe this practice to somebody else. You just say, oh, you just got to come and try it. And feeling it for yourself, it's the only way that you're going to, truly meet some of the conflict that the body's holding on to. But at the same time, it's going to transition into the space. As you release the stress, and your mind becomes a little bit more clear, therefore it becomes a little bit more calm.
Keep the body heavy here. Let's take 3 deep breaths. A little vibration and sigh on the exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. One more. Inhale. And take it slow. Start to bring your hips back. Slide your left foot behind you. And take any padding out from underneath your right knee. And then we'll make our way back down onto our belly. And left cheek. And feel that left hip release. And soften your belly into the mat. Let it go. Your forehead back towards your hands. And keep your hips heavy and then just walk your elbows in so we prop the chest up. You can adjust the knees, rock on the hips side to side a couple times. Might feel good to turn the knees out, turn the feet out. So you're externally rotating from your hips and then just laying your pubic bone and your pelvis into the ground. Probably feel a little pressure and down into your low back. That's fine. And then feel the difference as you settle and then you finally release in the jaw. The thighs. Your bum.
from the elbows, we're going to go deeper into the release of the psoas. So bring your left arm down, make a fist, and then tuck the fist so the knuckles, okay, are right inside in your frontal hip bone. And then you're going to find it's probably going to pulse on your fist when you get into your psoas. And then take your right arm down and make a fist. And so you're inside your frontal hip bones, and then turn your right cheek. And relax your bum and your legs. And you should be able to feel the pulsating effect. Having your fist underneath your psoas. You can just lift your bum a little bit on one side. Take one hand out. And then take the other hand out. Arms by your sides to rest. And then turn to the opposite cheek. When you're playing in the psoas, don't be surprised if you have some emotional releases that come. Let them happen. It's positive. It just means you're not carrying that weight with you anymore. When you are ready tonight, use your hands. You make your way up to all fours. And grab any bit of your stack. And then we're going to place it for a seated meditation, facing whatever device you're streaming this class on, so that we're all facing each other. Simple cross-legged seat with something under your bum. That elevation to your hips will hopefully have you feeling lightness and through your spine. And comfortable. the back of your hands rest on your inner thighs, palms face up. In mindfulness meditation, observe the air as it comes into your body, and observe the air as it goes out of your body. Observe any thoughts, observe any sensations. Your being is the observer. And when you're in this space, you notice if you feel a bit more connected, plugged in, even a subtle charge. You say a charge without ambition or motivation. It can just be a charge, a vibration, a little hum. Sometimes you'll feel the body tingling. Sometimes you'll notice more intently the relationship in the body with gravity, in the way there's these little sways, and you can truly feel your center, an outpouring of unconditional love, a heart that can ache with the sorrow, but at the same time, a love unconditionally. You really don't have to know what it means and to practice, and just feel, putting ourselves in this position, and hopefully you realize the benefits, or it could just be that you have a deeper sleep tonight. That could be a benefit. Or other benefits. And suppose the more people we can collect in this space, the more we can unite and support each other. So you're all here, that's beautiful. Feel free to invite others. Share this practice with somebody for the first time every night. Just think there could be somebody practicing with us every night that has never practiced with us before. And that's pretty amazing. Bring your hands to your heart, bow your chin into your chest, please. And bow in this space into each of you, into the light that is reflecting from each of you. Take a moment to seal and to send the practice and the energy of your practice wherever you'd like to this evening. Have a beautiful night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow evening for Detox. Thank you so much. Namaste.